Obo TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Yeah. Saturday night. The feeling's right. Doing all right. Because you know who I be. Man, it should be messing with my ear. Come on. Don't be scared at all. Come on, man. Can't wait to switch it to the OBS because the Knicks rehab dropped a little bit.
Knicks rehab.
Knicks rehab, y'all. In the mix. Big Knicks. Big tricks. Kidding me? Let's get right into it. Yeah, sometimes I rock with Knicks Twitter, or a lot of times I do. They usually post some stuff that I like. Keeps you up to date. Cause you know we all be busy. So busy. Anybody in the building, let me know if you can hear me or if you can't hear me. What? I should sound good. The levels is good. Okay. You know what? Before I do that, I'm gonna just check the YouTube site because I don't see any comments. Yeah. I'm sounding good, y'all. Cat gotta go. What up, Molly Moore? What's going on? Let's get right into it, man. What are the facts? What's fiction? How has Mike Brown been doing since being a New York Knicks head coach? Ups and downs, round and round. Some things being reported. Great article here from the Athletic. First little Knicks Twitter smoke. Here we go. Before every game, Mike Brown shares his rotation chart with Leon Rose, so he knows what to expect while watching, and conversations can be had after games if anyone thinks there should be a tweak. Now, that was the excerpt out of this article I'm about to show you guys in a second. And the reason why I had to point this out is because this guy, Papa left. This is embarrassing. I miss playing Alec Burks at point guard over quickly. You see New York Knicks basketball, he responded with like something real subtle, like, oh, he's trying to be, you know what I mean? When Alex Burks said, I think the way the offense is running, anybody can play the point. I feel like we got a lot of positionless players. Tibbs just has me doing it right now. It is what it is. So we know with Tibbs, he was very stubborn in his ways. And that's not really what caught my eye. I want to give that gentleman his props. He's a big time, like, he's big on Knicks Twitter. I ain't gonna lie. He goes viral all the time, or he used to. I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with that. But the article in hand where they took that excerpt from was from The Athletic, and we got access to that. Hopefully they never cancel us for that. It's titled, Knicks coach Mike Brown doesn't care to be the smartest guy in the room. Right? Good. James Edwards wrote the article. He gets into Mike Brown looked around and was the odd man out. In the coaches meeting a few weeks back, the Knicks head coach was deep in conversations with his staff about a potential change to the starting lineup. Injuries to key players forced Brown to reshuffle the deck. The discussion at hand was about starting or not starting Josh Hart. Starting or not starting Josh Hart. Now, you know, we all went through our little dilemma with that. Trying to see if I could really I I don't want to say a dilemma, but definitely we were arguing back and forth about Josh Hart starting, especially after last season. Last season, Josh Hart, that starting lineup, they scored a record amount of points in the history of the NBA, but just defensive wise, we were let down, but by the bench, and then defensively, that starting lineup wasn't great. But we're back. The coaching staff told him like, "Yo, we think we need to start Josh Hart over Mitchell Robinson." So the article goes on to say, and then of course, the beginning of this year, we had Mitchell Robinson coming back. Mike Brown put him in the starting lineup immediately. Shamit would start over OG when he went down. Then Shamit went down and Josh Hart started and Deuce McBride started some games. And eventually it just seems like they chose Josh Hart, who he's going to be any coach's favorite player because of his hustle. You don't have to teach him anything. You don't have to push him to play hard, which is what every coach wants, every fan wants. But he makes a lot of bonehead plays. He plays with one gear. I always compare him to Russell Westbrook. We compare him to John Starks as well. He reminds me a lot of John Starks. His personality. That's the closest thing to John Starks that we've had in New York City as a Knick. Back to the article at hand. Brown thought the team should go one way. Everyone else in the room went the other way. I had reasons why I was starting that way. My staff, all of them were like, these are the reasons why it would be better if you started Josh Hart. The reality of it is, I just listen to my staff. If I'm the only one thinking the other way might be better at that time, then maybe I'm wrong. I have been wrong before, and I will be wrong again in the future. That's what I love about my staff. I have guys who aren't afraid to tell me what they think. At the end of the day, it's on me to make the decision. I'm not going to always listen to them, but if my whole staff is telling me something, I better open my eyes and ears and figure out what they're trying to say and follow their lead instead of following my lead all the time. So he's basically saying I'm not a dictatorship, and this is a sharp contrast to Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs felt like it was a dictatorship under him. Fans knew it, players knew it, his way or the highway. We all knew this. And it's part of the reason why Mikal Bridges was screaming it seems like you're screaming when you're talking to the New York media or this day and age of the media in general, because they're going to repeat that, and your fans on social media are going to echo everything. It's an echo chamber in social media. So no matter what you say, even if you try to be subliminal about it, the fans are going to dissect it and go crazy. Ergo, the article and the topic at hand. When the Knicks decision makers made the surprising decision last summer to fire their most successful head coach this century right after making the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, collaboration was a quality they were chasing in the next coach. The need for it apparently came up routinely throughout the decision-making process. So I didn't even get to that part of the article, and they just said exactly what we all been saying. Collaboration was a quality they were chasing in the next coach. The need for it apparently came up routinely throughout the decision-making process. That's not Tibbs. It felt like Tibbs may have been a dictator and whatnot. And remember, the way he changed up the starting lineup in the middle of the playoffs after going one way, and we were all begging him to do something else, playing more of the bench in the playoffs, playing different rotations. You saw the writing was on the wall for Tom Thibodeau. We all felt that way after they gave up the big lead against the Pacers last year. The writing was on the wall for him. Once he changed up that lineup, that means that he broke. That means that somebody told him or was around. That's not an overnight thing that you do when you change a starting lineup, especially when you've been sticking to it. And we know Tibbs, he's just known for being stubborn. And obviously, Leon Rose, the leader of La Cosa Rosa, I don't know if he's the capo. He's the boss of all bosses, man. And speaking of which, it's Brown's job to make the final call on all things relating to the on-court basketball. That, after all, is what he gets paid to do. However, he's created an open-door policy for everyone to have input on how things will be run. I definitely don't have all of the answers. I'm definitely not the smartest cookie in the jar. I lean on people at the end of the day. I do have to make the final decision because there are a lot of voices. But anytime you give anybody in the ownership group, anybody in the group ownership of the process, they tend to buy into it more. It feels like it's their own. Our players have been really good giving suggestions. My staff has been really good. Hence the Josh Hart thing. There were a couple of times we have a big staff. There had been a couple of times when I was thinking this and everyone else was thinking that. So I even said in front of the group, I got to look in the mirror. If I'm the only one thinking this, I'm probably wrong. So I'm going to roll with y'all. Now, this is the excerpt that everyone pointed out. They put it on Twitter and it went crazy because everyone feels like I don't even know what they're calling them over there, but they're bugging. Before every game, Brown shares his rotation with Knicks executive Leon Rose. So he knows what to expect while watching, and conversations can be had after games if anyone thinks there should be a tweak. In timeouts, after meetings with his coaches, Brown sometimes hands the clipboard to his assistants like Chris Gent, Brendan O'Connor to diagram something for the team, while Brown stands behind them, staring and analyzing like one of his players. So this part, Brown sometimes hands the clipboard to his assistants like Chris Gent and Brendan O'Connor to diagram something for the team. The only thing that's missing from the Golden State days and the Steve Kerr days is the fact that we saw Draymond drawing up plays. We saw a whole bunch of players drawing up plays in this day and age. Like back in the day, that was never allowed. They never did that. They never did that. That's really a newfound thing, and the collaboration thing is newfound. But we didn't see Mike Brown doing that on the Cavaliers' first stint, right, with his championship run. Maybe LeBron, with that much cachet, will call something out. And I'm pretty sure players, we'll get into the Chris Paul thing later with the Clippers, how players do the audible. And great players have always audible. Great players have always had way more cachet than everybody else, just like executives in the organization. That's just, Magic Johnson got his head coach fired. That's how Pat Riley came aboard, right? And with the Knicks now, I haven't seen them call any plays, but I'm pretty sure he's collaborating with them. I've seen the comments with Mikal Bridges in them saying that, Mike Brown is pretty collaborative. So, but in this, of course, what sticks out, Knicks executive, Brown shares his rotation chart with Knicks executive Leon Rose. So he knows what to expect while watching, and conversations can be had after games if anyone thinks there should be a tweak. So that was a very small piece of the article, right? Because if somebody says so, he knows what to expect while watching, and conversations can be had after games if anyone thinks there should be a tweak. But fans are going to read this and say, what do you mean if anyone? If you gave it to Leon Rose might throw in an audible at you. I don't think that's anything new. There's players that are injury prone. There's players that may be on a trading block, and we've seen how people get traded before. They heard about getting traded at the corner store. They probably heard about getting traded while they were laid up with some things, if we being honest. So what's stopping a head coach or a general manager or a president of basketball operations telling a head coach, yo, watch this guy's minutes tonight because, we might finalize a deal tonight. Make sure he's all right. He's not injured. By halftime, you sit him, you bench him. There's rumors of Lawrence Frank telling Ty Lue Kawhi's not even going to play tonight. And there's no rumor of trading for Kawhi Leonard or Kawhi Leonard being traded out of the Clippers. And Lawrence Frank went down there and made a head coach decision in the middle of a basketball game to tell Ty Lue, like, yo, Kawhi's not playing the rest of the half. Or whoever told Ty Lue. I know it wasn't Ty Lue's decision. So everyone up in a tizzy about this is silly to me. It's silly to me. Like, it also doesn't help that Mike Brown looks like a doofus. He got like a little doofy look to him, and people are mad about that. And it's easy to really point to him as like a weak link or whatever, because even us, we call Leon Rose, the capo, the boss of all bosses in La Cosa Rosa, and Mike Brown, we call him a substitute teacher. So we saw Matt Barnes, of course, call out Mike Brown He said, hell no, Mike Brown. Nobody listens to Mike Brown. And I would think that lends itself. Like people talk, man. People talk. People talk. It's not just the fact that we're saying it or we think it. You got players and former players saying this about Mike Brown. I don't want to say it's sad is the wrong word, but they're saying it, man.
I got one hand saying fuck no.
The one thing about Mike Brown is that first year
It's always good. Mike is a great
exactly
person. He's just, to me, he's not a leader of men. You have to be, I couldn't imagine it now because these kids are making so much money. You have to have the respect of them. And I think Mike is such a nice guy. That's what fucks Mike up. Mike wants to be cool with everyone instead of putting his foot down like, this is my team, this is what's going on. So that's why I feel like I've seen it. He was my coach with the Lakers. We had Mike after Phil Jackson retired. And when I tell you, rest in peace to my dog Kobe and Ron Artest, they walked all over that motherfucker. They used to sub themselves in and out of games. I'm just like, oh shit.
Hey, you was about to try it. Like, hold on, let me.
I knew better. I'm a little crazy. I'm not stupid. I'm crazy. I'm not stupid. No, I can't sub my motherfucking self in the game. And then he came to. I think he learned a lot in Golden State underneath Steve Kerr. I think Mike Brown is a great second chair. Because when you sit in that second chair, if this is the first chair, when I tell you there's such a night and day difference sitting in the head coaching chair, I think Mike is a great assistant coach. I wish him the best, but I've seen it firsthand in Sacramento. His first year came in, brought Golden State's system. They made the playoffs for the first time. And Price and Salati were born. And then he lost the respect of the team quickly. So now you're going to a New York media market that's trying to eat you up. Every mistake, Mike is a good guy. I just don't think the situation is going to work because he's too nice for his own good.
Now, of course, you got to keep that in the back of your mind. That's a former player that played under Mike Brown, played with Kobe, played with, strong personalities that were under Mike Brown and Ron Artest. Ron Artest and Metta World Peace, and Kobe Bryant were running amok on Mike Brown. Of course, you keep that in the back of your mind, especially when you feel like he's being laissez-faire about, decision making. Everyone doesn't know it all, like Mike Brown is saying. And if he's, Mike Brown knows. You bro, chill out. See what I mean? And you're gonna be called a brown nose, and you have to make a decision. So that's where it's like people want to feel like he has to put his foot down, which is what we felt like. We feel like we could run you over and we're on the couch. And these are the players saying that. So we've said that coming into the season. It's not like this is news to us, especially with a bunch of young guys in Sacramento. It's like, yo, you can't run them. What makes you think you're gonna come to New York and do that with these guys? But it's a big difference, man. It's a big difference. Let's finish this article first, man. So we already see here that what went viral is they call him Mike Brown nose, has to. I don't know if he has to, and that's the key. Does he have to? He shares his rotation chart with Knicks executive Leon Rose, so he knows what to expect while watching, and conversations can be had after games if anyone thinks there should be a tweak. And we know, going back to the beginning of this article, what did we say earlier? The Knicks were looking for a coach to replace Tom Thibodeau who would show more of a collaborative effort. Right? See what that's at real quick so you guys can see it. And you don't think I'm lying. First, the need for the friendly routinely. Go on court basketball. He's creating open door policy. Did I skip that? I probably did. Somehow I skipped that shit. Fuck it. So upon arrival, Brown wanted to overhaul the defensive and offensive systems that New York was used to. He did things his way with his philosophies and principles as he tried to implement a new style. He might like this and that, but if it doesn't work for us, he might sub it out. In the beginning, he was throwing everything out there, which he should. He's a new coach. We all try to learn it. Some things we need to fix and tweak it out a little bit. We do. So that was Mikal Bridges on Mike Brown. He might like this and that, but if it doesn't work for us, he might sub it out. And he's talking about referring to the beginning. The beginning was just 20 games ago. We're a quarter of the season away, and we see Mike Brown making changes, substituting his changes for what seems like better ones. The Knicks have been playing better as of late. So we can't deny what has worked, especially in the meantime, in between time. And again, the reason why this stood out is because I seen homeboy Papa Left going crazy on Twitter. And he wrote a damn Martin Luther King speech response to all the fans tripping over this statement. He said, I want Knicks fans to watch the Sam Presti clip about Mark Daigneault before reacting to this Mike Brown, Leon Rose rotation sheet story. And he put the video up here.
G-League coach and the guy that gets you over the top are two very different people. You've kept them all the way through. Can you reflect on maybe how rare that is and the growth that he went through to get to this point?
He has created an environment for the guys to have confidence. Obviously, we played a lot of guys throughout the year. And because of that, I think we had different players be able to perform in the postseason. Wasn't the first time that they've stepped foot on the floor together. He really understands, like, the lifeblood of the franchise is the development process. And he's able to really lean into that and foster that. That's how you have a guy like AJ Mitchell play such a pivotal role until he was injured. On down the line, where you could easily get distracted by chasing outcomes. And that really hasn't been the case, but that's why he's the coach,
And that was Sam Presti with that. And this is Papa Left. He wrote, when I tell you he went crazy, this is crazy. Mark Daigneault was a G League coach before becoming an NBA coach. As a G League coach, Mark was given development priorities, lineup goals, and organizational objectives. The job isn't win tonight at all costs. It's to understand the roster, build chemistry, and develop players the organization needs to evaluate. Presti praises Daigneault specifically for being willing to try different rotations so every player is prepared and there's no drop-off when injuries hit. That's the model. This matters because Knicks fans have been conditioned by the Thibodeau era, an era where the coach functionally operated with autonomy, even without a front office title. Now, again, that's in reference to what we just said earlier, where the Knicks were looking for a collaborative effort from the new head coach, and they weren't looking for a dictatorship. And a lot of fans feel the same way Papa Left does. Yo, this guy's a dictator, and we're going too far. Mikal Bridges spoke out about this again. I have to repeat. In the middle, and he just got here. Mikal Bridges got here a year ago. He wasn't playing any games. I've been to the finals. What's your cachet? You got a title as an assistant. I've been to the finals. So it took James Dolan to come down, interview the players apparently, and say and make the final decision. Yo, we got to make this thing connected from the court all the way up to the suite. All the executives got to be on point and collaborate. And Papa Left, for him to bring up the OKC Thunder out of all teams, they are the bar for any organization of any sport right now in terms of how to run it. Because if we were running things like the OKC Thunder in New York City, any organization, because the Yankees, the Mets, my beloved Mets, I can't even watch baseball like that anymore. But if Steve Cohen were to get a Sam Presti and get his organization involved, this is different. Like the Tampa Bay Rays a few years ago, I know this much. They had their farm system set up. They had aces on the field to pitch, and they had a roster from top to bottom that was crazy. So that was what OKC kind of did, even though it was a bunch of trades, and of course you need luck, but to replace, remember, that's coming from losing the KD, Harden, Westbrook dynasty that was on the horizon. They went to a finals. Everybody thought like, yo, how the hell do you trade James Harden? That was eating Sam Presti alive. That was eating him alive. And I'm pretty sure Leon Rose he doesn't have that pain to deal with, but he has players that share that pain. I'm gonna read more Papa left his tweet because it was phenomenal. The first moves of the Tibbs Rose tenure were Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson, veterans who knew his system, were prioritized over developing quickly Grimes, Obi, Sims, and others, almost all of whom are still in the league and on second contracts, while the vets he leaned on are out of basketball. Very key point here. Veterans who knew his system were prioritized over developing quickly Grimes, Obi, Sims, and others, almost all of whom are still in the league and on second contracts. And the vets are all out of basketball. Grimes is the one that, we had to go get. We had to go get Grimes. We had to keep Grimes, excuse me. But everybody else, it felt like quickly was involved in the OG trade. I don't think any of us are mad at that, no matter how much of a leap Toronto has taken since. He goes on, even in losing seasons, he favored Kemba, Burks, Rose, Taj, and Fournier. That philosophy shaped real roster outcomes, running back the COVID team, signing more vets, skipping the lottery to preserve cap space for Brunson, and ultimately losing in 2023 second round pick due to tampering. Those rookie scale deals, Jalen Williams, Duren, Walsh types matter under the new CBA. There were moments when the front office clearly pushed back, like the end of season shift from Taj to Sims, but for years the organization prioritized Tibbs' win now approach over long-term asset value. That's why the Knicks entered the 2022 summer without a clean star trade package, while they eventually traded Obi for 2 seconds, while Grimes was included for the Bojan, quickly RJ for OG, and while they ultimately emptied the war chest for Bridges. They built a win now roster tailored for Tibbs. But the playoffs exposed the limits, slow pace, tight rotations. Hold on. This I kind of got to disagree with. The win now roster tailored for Tibbs. I got to disagree with that because as Cat is a polarizing figure right now. Karl-Anthony Towns is a polarizing figure. I felt like we should have kept Randall and Mitchell Robinson because I wanted depth, especially with Don. It eventually traded Dante DiVincenzo, but the original trade was Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson for Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't think that trade was intended to keep Tibbs. I really feel like they traded Julius Randle and they wanted to get Cat because they wanted to try to copy the Boston Celtics thing. And those are Tom Thibodeau type of players. They were telling him, like, yo, if you could win, if you're a winner like that, we're going to give you another All-NBA player, but let's see if you can change up your system. Let's see if you could change up your system. A lot of times people do things, it's a chess move. It's a chess move. I'm going to make this play, and I'm going to see what you do with it. Because if you're a great coach, you should be able to adapt to players no matter what. And that's the part I disagree with in this tweet. But the playoffs, let's get back to that real quick. We'll finish it up and then, move along accordingly. But the playoffs expose the limits, slow pace, tight rotations, heavy workloads, no experimentation. Even players, including Bridges, complain about minutes and the lack of trust in the bench. The team needed spacing adjustments. Tibbs resisted. When Brunson got into foul trouble in Game 3, the bench saved the night, and suddenly the Knicks looked alive again. It forced the question, why aren't these players used earlier? Exit interviews reportedly made it clear players didn't understand their roles. That's why Tibbs is gone. True. That's important too, because if they're making exit interviews for the season, we just signed this coach for $40 million. He's paid no matter what. If that's the case, and the players are still saying like, yo, I don't know my role. Even though Cat did start the season by saying, I don't know what the offense is, coach. What is this? Right? He still understood his role because Mike Brown made it very clear. You're the guy that's going to be in all these different positions on the court during any time of any game. 5 different spots on the court I need you on. So this was amazing by Mike Brown and his collaborative effort. Showing more of a reason why, the Knicks, I guess they thought about the coach. We still agree with Flea. Like, Flea looks like he's right. I don't think Mike Brown was the plan, but this article will lead you to believe that Mike Brown is the plan, or he was part of the plan. I mean, they were looking for this type of coach. Was he the grade A guy? We got to get Leon Rose drunk one day and ask him on World Wide West. Yeah, they all from Jersey. It's not like they won't keep it funky if you see him in the streets. The Knicks explicitly sought a coach who fits the league-wide direction, collaborative, experimental, rotation, flexible, and aligned with analytics and sports science. This is how OKC, Indy, Boston, and almost every modern organization operates, which is important because OKC, clearly they could play everybody 1 through 10 in that system. And the way that they rotate everybody, part of it has to do with the fact that SJ is an MVP candidate. He gets a lot of leeway when he gets into the game. He foul based like Brunson, but they take advantage of that. That's my thing about Giannis. Players like that are very unapologetic about their game. That's why I didn't like Julius Randle shooting too much. His first is for 99% of his Knicks tenure. He was shooting too many threes, and then finally he got it when he got hurt, injured his ankle. He was in the hospital watching tape of himself, and he said, damn, I'm shooting too many threes. And he came back that final year with the Knicks before he got hurt, and he was shooting way less threes and being way more effective because he played unapologetically. The same thing with SGA. I don't care if they say I'm a foul baiter. I'm going to keep baiting. Call it whatever you want. They're giving me the calls. It allows me to dominate. It allows for me to be a weapon out here. Then you could bench me, get these players in rotations out here on the court in the fourth quarter. This guy plays 3 quarters a game, very similar to last year, SGA. Indiana, of course, they find their players. They build the same way. Boston, 1 through 8, 1 through 9 when they're in their championship run. And the Indy was that's tough. Because Rick Carlisle's another guy that gave Mike Brown props when we played them. And people forget that. Rick Carlisle and Spoelstra, they both gave it up to Mike Brown. Like, yo, I didn't expect that from him. And, again, I don't know if that's just the coach giving his peer props. Like, they might be like, yo, give Mike Brown his props because, you don't want to shit on him. Anything that he does, if he gets more money, because this is how I look at this. Remember, I love wrestling from back in the day. I love wrestling. Scott Hall and them, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, they used to be tight at Bret Hart because Bret Hart would be a company man. No matter how great he is, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, behind the curtains, he's sitting there trying to be cool with Vince McMahon about his salary. And Scott Hall and be like, yo, you could do whatever you want to do, bro. We don't have to like each other. But if you go in there and ask for less money, how can I get more money if you're the top guy? So I think in the NBA, it's kind of the opposite. If a guy like Mike Brown in New York, if he makes a bigger contract, and Spoelstra and Rick Carlisle, they're sitting there going, yo, man, he's doing his thing. You start giving him respect after you lose to him. It's his wrestling. Let gas the Knicks up into giving Mike Brown more money so that I'm Eric Spoelstra and I'm Rick Carlisle. Don't tell me you giving me 40, 30, 20, $30 million. I need 5 times more of that, dog, because I ain't no Mike Brown, right? We're talking about Rick Carlisle champion, Eric Spoelstra champion. Been to a combination of how many conference finals and finals between them. But I digress. Let's get back to the article. George Carl. Oh, I didn't want to see this name. Papa left. Come on, man. George Carl. You could ruin my dinner with this motherfucker. George Carl said in 2015 that barely 10 coaches had real roster power anymore. George Carl said in 2015 that barely 10 coaches had real roster power anymore. 10 years later, it's even fewer. We've watched Mike Malone, Taylor Jenkins, and Tom Thibodeau lose jobs for resistant organizational alignment. That's tough because Mike Malone, he's been known to be a guy. I think he was playing Westbrook too much, and the team what was against it. And that's, some of the reports was that Aaron Gordon spoke out against Russell Westbrook. A lot of the players didn't like his rotations, and he was Thibodeau also. He was Thibodeau West. And with Taylor Jenkins, see, Eric Spoelstra copied Taylor Jenkins' system. That's the first team I ever heard of that plays a style of no screens. They play no screens, and they were trying to play at a faster pace. Even though you got Zach Edey and a bunch of guys over there that kind of low IQ in Memphis, but you saw who copied that style. Eric Spoelstra and them, They got the fastest pace in the league they play at, and they're like top 5 in the league in defense. So Eric Spoelstra's a guy who's known to adapt. Mike Brown seems to be the same. Tibbs, we know, has to be forced to adapt. So back to the article, or back to the tweet that's really an article from Papa Left. Thank you very much, Papa Left. This is crazy. So the idea that Mike Brown giving Leon Rose a rotation sheet is some shocking headline. It's not. It's standard, not front office interference, not shadow coaching. It's communication. The same communication that players have already praised in the early Mike Brown era. The Knicks aren't doing anything unique here. They're finally doing what elite franchises do. As someone who has coached, collaboration is normal even at a high school level. No coach just sits on the throne dictating everything. Multiply that by a multi-billion-dollar NBA organization under the new CBA, and of course, coaches and front offices are in constant dialogue. If anything, this report shows the Knicks are moving toward the modern model, not away from it. So shout out to Papa Left. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel, but he's definitely big on Knicks Twitter, and he's very vocal. I've interacted with him before, man. Cool dude. Always showed love when he was on on the same platform, like in Twitter Spaces. I used to do that way more. There's too many knuckleheads in there, but I like most of what he said. I disagree with some parts of it, but of course the spirit of what he said is of course we're not going to be too excited, because we don't know where this season is going to end up. And as of right now, I can't see a championship unless we're making tweaks on the defensive end. But the only way to really get this thing going is, for me, it feels like Karl-Anthony Towns has to be way more of a 1, way more of a 2. And Mike Brown came in here and said that basically, yo, I'm giving you way more responsibility than everybody else. And Mike Brown has been nice about it, even the way he spoke to Karl-Anthony Towns in the media. Even most recently, actually, speaking of which, right on cue. How dare I just come up with these transitions in real time? Huh? Mike Brown speaking about Karl-Anthony Towns' defense the last couple games.
Kind of contesting and being in the right spot at the rim early on. Do you feel like he helped set the tone with how you guys were going to play and start this game too?
For sure. Cat he's long, man. And he moves his feet better than what people think. Also, he's got a great feel. He's a smart basketball player. And so when he uses his length the right way, which he's been doing as of late, just wall up and make them shoot over the top of you. And if they make it, great, just move on to the next play. But when he does that, it helps our paint defense a ton.
Now, boy, oh boy, I wish Flea was here. You heard me say over and over again, I hate when Karl-Anthony Towns goes out there and doesn't play like a 7-footer. And he's saying that he moves his feet better than people know. I think he's trying to speak to Karl-Anthony Towns. Yo, you got to move your feet better more than you know. He's pumping confidence into him, and he's trying at least. And the last couple of games, he has played better defensively. I forgot who pointed. I think it was K-Dot who pointed out in the comments yesterday. And, I was disgusted because that sounds good against the Hornets. It sounds good against the Wizards. It sounds good against the Jazz. But we want to see this against elite teams because that's what you practice against them. Him and Mikal Bridges going at it on the court. I don't mind that because Mikal Bridges is the guy who basically led the way to Tom Thibodeau getting the hell up out of here because he wasn't playing about what he believes. And he's going to be able to vocalize that to Cat or anybody in this team. Mikal Bridges is starting to earn more and more respect here from Fabian Perspective, All Ball TV. Turning into a two-way monster. But defensively, he's speaking out. And the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges on the defensive end, they got to be loud. That's what Tyson Chandler was known for. I like what Kenyon Martin said. He said, as an older player, I just got my $3 million and I shut the F up because Tyson Chandler was on there on the Knicks. Tyson Chandler, I remember when he was here, won Defensive Player of the Year, the way they talked about him, all the articles on him was about how vocal he was. And it made me realize, like, oh, damn, you got to be really loud and you can't be shy or timid at all when you're playing defense on a basketball court with 30,000 people in the building. So Cat at least is being open to the criticism as well. Him and Mike Brown open to the criticism. Jalen Brunson, obviously, he's going to, the Derek Jeter route, always with his, it's a great game. We could do better. We won by 55,000 points. We can do better. It's like, all right, Jalen, I get it. So we ain't going to get shit from him and his roommates. We know Josh Hart be talking mad shit on the court. What are you really saying, Josh Hart? That's what I want to know. Damn it. Also, just in case we forget, Mike Brown, I gave you your props. But Mike Brown with the pause moment of the day. Mike Brown, calm down.
Do stuff like that during the course of the game. Like I came back to the huddle and Mo, they were doing something with Mo's knees. And I'm like, Mo, you're 19. Your knees are okay. You don't even need Ben Gay on them knees. The guys do stuff like that during the course of the game. Like I came back to the huddle and Mo, they were doing something with Mo's knees. And I'm like, Mo, you're 19. Your knees are okay. You don't even need Ben Gay on them knees.
Calm down. And then he uses the flash word. Mike Brown, calm down. Yeah, pause, K. Dot. Big pause. I'm 43. I don't pause nothing, Flea. But he's right. He's right. Finally, there's some old school. Yo, Diora, what you go to court with ice on you? Get out of here. You ain't Patrick Ewing. You have 19 years on Earth. What are you doing with ice on your knees? You don't need any. Anyway. I didn't see this on the Mellow Watch. This transition real smoothly. Excuse me, on the Giannis watch. We compared the Giannis acquisition and not wanting to trade everybody for Carmelo Anthony. And guess what? Guess who spoke on this? You guessed it. Carmelo, I forgot your last name, Anthony.
The Knicks to turn their nose up at that and be like,
Bro,
we kind of like our team already.
You keep naming Cat, bro.
I think Cat's got to be a part of that deal.
No, I don't think Cat has to be a part of that deal.
Okay, who do you give
play
up?
Giannis and Cat together.
I love Giannis and Cat. Giannis, Cat, and Brunson together, let's roll.
So if you can make the deal would be to package some of them other niggas up to go get Giannis. No, I'm just saying, bro. Hear me
That's
out.
the way you said it was funny.
If I could keep Jalen Brunson and Cat and bring in Giannis.
So you're giving up
OG
and
Mikal,
and a
pick, and Josh Hart. Now, it might be too much money.
Nah, I don't know. Josh Hart?
You might could keep Josh.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to keep Josh. You take Wingstop, you take OG and Mikal.
Yep.
And some picks.
Yep. And Tyler Kolek.
Much improved, bench guard.
And nothing against these guys, but we speaking hypothetically.
You got to give to get.
If you're going to get Giannis, you got to really make that deal. You can't just say, hey, take Cat.
Yeah.
Nah.
You got to give to get. But
because if I'm Milwaukee, I'm like, nah, why would I do that?
I mean, the reason why I say
got
Cat,
Miles Turner here. Why would I do that?
The reason why I say Cat is because I think he was extension eligible this week, and they didn't sign him to an extension.
Man, listen, fuck that. They didn't work on that. Why would I say Cat to Milwaukee? If I'm Milwaukee, why would I take Cat and I got Miles Turner?
Yeah, that's true.
Over here. So if I got Miles Turner over here, then let me get Wingstop. I need wings.
Mm.
Right? I need let me get 2 prominent wings in this league. So now if you got OG and
That's music to all balls' ears. The fuck are you talking about, Carmelo? You out your damn mind? You traded the core. We traded the core of the Knicks to you, for you, because you didn't want to come in the summertime. See, this is what I'm talking about. Flea's lucky we ain't. We would have been going at it right now. Just trade OG and Mikal Bridges. So who's playing defense? Do you know what Giannis will be talking to Cat and Jalen Brunson? That's the only reason why I would want that trade. Is for Giannis to come here and flame Brunson and Cat every game. Every game. Yo, I didn't come here for this. I didn't come here for this. I didn't come here to stop every single possession that you guys can't take up. Are you crazy? You know who wants Cat? Phoenix. Because Devin Booker's over there. Do a 3-team trade. Can't give up Cat. Why not? It's that big brand business, man. Listen, and again, I would love to have, for Cat to have been nice like that, but he's not. And Giannis coming here, puts Brunson in second, then you get Cat as a third option. So I like the idea of it, but you got to go get a bunch of defensive players after that. And is it harder to get Giannis and keep OG or Mikal Bridges and then get 1 or 2 more defensive players? Or you go get Giannis, have Cat, and then Brunson, and then what is it looking like? How are you going to really go play 48 minutes a night against the OKCs of the world? Who's in? It solves some of the Magic problem, but that Magic problem is tough. We still need defense with the Magic. Giannis could play against them, but we're missing a lot. If you keep Mitchell Robinson, I guess. He didn't talk about that. Maybe he did. If you want to fast forward it real quick. Hold on. Let me see.
Mikal and Giannis out.
Yeah, of course. He ain't trying to stay for that. He's back in the booth. Probably back in the booth.
Giannis, there's other opportunities, man. We gonna see. We gonna saying shit. I don't know shit.
We was so
I know business. I know the game. I know the basketball.
I know business. I know basketball. I know the game. Listen, so do a bunch of other podcasts that suggest a whole bunch of shit. You speculate like the rest of us. Just speak your opinion. That's the other thing. Well, I say I profess we love the game. I love the game too, brother. I love the game too, brother. And there's no way you coming on this platform, on your platform, and never speaking to anything that sounds anything like the trade that we did for you, bro. No disrespect. Respectfully. I would sit right across the couch and tell you that. I don't care if you would kick my ass. Bro, do you know what you did to us, to me specifically, a bunch of Knicks fans coming out here for you thinking you LeBron? Now with Giannis, of course, you make the trade. But for OG and Mikal Bridges and what, like, we're just gonna reimagine everything. The Milwaukee Bucks, they don't want Miles Turner and Cat together. You gotta chill out, Holmes. You gotta chill out. Sitting across from homeboy who gives you no challenge whatsoever. I'm tired of that too. All you guys are sitting on these podcasts. See, that's why I don't agree with all ball. Rashawn McCants be going at Gilbert Arenas. Kenya Martin and Dave, they argue. They argue like us. They argue with each other. Who's arguing with Carmelo Anthony about anything? So he's just the be all end all. I'm not with the glazing, man. I got an opinion. I watch basketball like you, man. I got an opinion, bro. This is what it is. That's what you're gonna do, and then what? Flea and I talked about it yesterday, right? We're not an automatic championship team if you just trade for Giannis, because what are you giving up? We have to see what the team looks like after that. Then you can make realistic expectations. But Karl Anthony Towns will be what, Super Brook Lopez with Giannis? It sounds good, but Brook Lopez was up for Defensive Player of the Year. He was top 3, top 5 in them seasons that they won the championship, even the seasons following the championship. Karl Anthony Towns has never been known to do that. So, offensively, they spread the floor for Giannis too. That would be dope. I see a lot of the greatness on the offensive end, but defensively, Giannis will be pissed the hell off. And Mikal Bridges, he's proven more and more why he deserves a spot over here, man. He really does. For him to be that vocal, who else is going to be the vocal leader or express something to the coach or anybody? He wasn't scared to say something to Tom Thibodeau or about Tom Thibodeau. Even when Thibodeau was acting like he never said it, he said, you know what? Yo, man, it is what it is. We playing too much over here, bro. What you running us to the ground for in game 52? What's wrong with you? I want Giannis to come here. Giannis don't play them games. He's getting older. Again, we saw the formula with Giannis. It's a grind out game with him. That finesse style is not him. He needs Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday on the offensive end. When Drew Holiday got hot, Chris Middleton was streaky, but he was money. Without them two, they're not winning anything. And the point of attack with a Drew Holiday, you can have some of that with Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, and you have to keep one of them. But by the sounds of that, one or both of them are gone. If Carmelo's Anthony, who remember he's close with CAA, he was a CAA client. Part of the reason how he got to New York was because LeBron and them were CAA clients initially. That's how they spoke to Leon Rose and got contacted the Knicks, right? And excuse me, Carmelo, Allen Iverson, a bunch of these guys were CAA clients, Leon Rose clients, and that's how they brought Carmelo to New York, and they forced their way over here. I would think Leon Rose learned his lesson. I would think the same way he wants a collaborative effort from Mike Brown, he better be having a collaborative effort with Mike Brown about this. Yo, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, we got to keep one of them. Do what you got to do to keep one of them. Probably especially OG, because defensively with him with Giannis will be insane. Insane. Give me defense over offense anytime. Mikal Bridges, it's just tough because he's a two. And then he becomes a better two-way defensively if you get to keep Mikal Bridges. And he's Jalen Brunson's man. So it's harder to trade him and, the emotional ties. But they got rid of Dante. They let Jalen Brunson know, hey, dog. Hey, dog. I don't care what Rolling Stone cover you on with your man. He's gone. So Melo does have an aspect of the game. He's not just some regular, superstar player from the NBA. He has specific ties to these guys. He has specific ties to the Knicks. He has specific ties to Leon Rose. Stop acting like you don't know what's going on at all, Carmelo. You can get a feel for them better than we can because they don't even talk. All we got to judge by is speculation off the outside looking in. I love Melo, by the way. He's doing an ill job. Like, as a basketball player, I always felt like, him coming here was not a great move the way he did it. And I wasn't not a fan of his. It was the beginning of me learning that there's a lot of stands out here who will pigeonhole you into disliking someone, and you can't critique them because you're a fan of theirs. I don't give a fuck. And he hated on Jeremy Lin. I will remind you again, you better go apologize to that man. You should if you a real man, Melo. If I sat down for me, I would tell you that. Go apologize to Mikal and OG too. They have to work 2 times as hard with Brunson's punk ass and Cat's punk ass not shuffling their feet. But that has nothing to do with the personality that Carmelo is, because that's the thing where he's killer. Just like his scoring, this dude, magnifique, got a little, he's stay mellow. He's charismatic. He got some charm to him. He's on NBC. He's a star, acts like a star. I love that. Just get them dudes. No disrespect to you, your co-host. I love Mero, you Dominicano, que lo que, Kaz. I don't know you, but you sound like Mero, by the way. Sometimes I play this shit in the background. I'm like, I thought that was Mero. But y'all got to push back on homeboy. I don't care if he's Carmelo. What's up with y'all? Everybody got to get glazed all the time, man. I ain't glazing nobody. I'm 43. I ain't do that shit ever in my life. As we continue on. I wonder if we should go with oh yeah, we gonna do this. Slow down, son. You killing them. You killing them with Octane. I wonder if we got more video of this though. Cause they were going crazy. Chris Paul, Clippers. This shit is getting crazy. Chris Paul and the Clippers. Chris Paul reportedly told Kawhi to switch off Klay Thompson because Kawhi was struggling to keep up, as per Chris Haynes. Jeff Van Gundy then told Chris Paul, you might have had leeway in other places to change up defensive coverages, but you don't have that leeway here. Oh, shit. Sit your punk ass down, CP3. Who the fuck you talking to, CP3? You're Jeff Van Gundy. He ain't playing with you. Fuck you talking about? Let's see. What do you have? I seen a video. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Why ain't y'all tell me this? You guys ain't my real friends in the comments. Come on, Taylor Rooks on, what are they on, Amazon Prime? They talked about it too. Yeah. Sitting there with Candace Parker. Candace Parker, I heard about your little switch up over there on all the smoke. You're always welcome to switch back, you know what I mean?
Here's something up for me. A few days before his release, CP3 posted a screenshot on his Instagram story with the definition of the word leeway. Looking back, what was that all about?
Yeah, so that occurred from a game against the Dallas Mavericks.
What's wrong with y'all? You put the definition of leeway up. It's primetime television, man. The kids need to understand. Leeway, the amount of freedom to move or act that is available.
Their last home game they played. It was in the fourth quarter.
I think they're on YouTube.
Kawhi Leonard is on a minute restriction. And sources told me that when he was guarding Klay Thompson, he was struggling when he got into the game after sitting down for a while. He was struggling keeping up with Klay Thompson. And so there was a timeout call late in that fourth quarter. And during the fourth quarter, and during that timeout, Chris Paul went to Kawhi Leonard and said, hey, man, are you fresh enough? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you can stick with Klay Thompson? And he asked the teammates, he said, hey, y'all might want to switch this. Wait till he gets warm until he goes and guards Klay. Klay is killing us at that point. And so they ended up switching the matchup, the assignment. And so the next day, Jeff Van Gundy, assistant coach for the Clippers, he called a meeting with Chris Paul on the plane the next day, and he asked Chris Paul if he changed up the defensive assignment yesterday. And Chris said, no, I didn't change up the assignment. I just suggested, hey, we might want to have somebody else guarding Klay right now because Kawhi is not warm yet. And so I was told that Jeff Van Gundy told Chris Paul, listen, you might have had leeway in other places to be able to, to change up defensive coverages, but you don't have that leeway here. And that was just one of the minor verbal incidents between Jeff Van Gundy and Chris Paul. That was one of a few in this brief span with the Clippers.
There's another clip where they got Taylor Rooks sitting at the edge of the table talking to these guys. I might find it for y'all. They know what they're doing over there on Prime. Stop doing all that, teasing us. Taylor teasing. Yo, yeah, you're right, LB City. Thanks for the comments, by the way, about the Isaiah Hartenstein thing. That sounds like a Van Gundy. You know he old school. Yo, Jeff Van Gundy schooled him. Got him up out of here. Listen, Chris, we don't do that over here. And you know what I laughed? The reason why I really laughed was because I always thought Chris Paul was a sneaky dude. I always thought he was a sneaky individual my whole life. And it wasn't until Kenyon Martin came out and said, he's a sneaky dude. He's a politician. Call him a sneaky dude. And I said, I know it. Chris Paul is a sneaky Brooklyn Ninja. And they asked him, yo, did you change up the defensive assignment? And he said, nah, I just made this suggestion. If I'm going to say, yo, man, check this out. This ain't that, and that ain't this. You washed out here. And of course, they weren't done, man. Like, this is the first practice, allegedly, with Ty Lue and the Clippers had. And they shouted out Chris Paul. They shouted him out all right.
Fuck CP, ain't no name on it. Nigga, get the ball played and get the action. Let's go, why you got it? Take time. Fuck CP, ain't no name on it. Nigga, get the ball played and gets the action. Go, why you got it? Take time.
Damn, Ty.
Fuck CP, ain't no name on it. Niggas get the ball played and gets the action.
Ty Lue sounds like somebody's old uncle, man. Fuck CP3. He said, fuck CP. Ain't no name calling. Ain't no name. Damn. You ain't got to get a ninja back like that. Listen, I don't know if that was AIK Dot. I don't know. Ty Lue looks like somebody, one of the Cosby kids. Yo, listen, I don't agree with the way the Clippers got Chris Paul up out of there. None of us do more. A lot of people have already commented on this. We commented on it, and Lawrence Frank is skating scot-free. The Kawhi Leonard deal going over there wouldn't have been as bad if you didn't make the Paul George for SGA trade. That's the worst trade in NBA history is looking like right now. And you also signed Chris Paul. You signed Chris Paul. It's not like you didn't know him. Ty Lue, you know Chris Paul. He said, yo, that's my man. I didn't want anything to be personal. It's business. That's what he's saying. That don't sound like business. And I don't know if it got back to him, if they're exchanging words behind the scenes. That we don't know what happened. But it feels like CP3 said something and Ty Lue's responding to it. And, you're the coach. I don't even know who recorded that and put that out, as a matter of fact. That was Draymond's problem, right? With the Jordan Poole situation. Remember with Draymond knocked his teammate out. And the first thought on his mind is, yo, man, who put the tape out, dog? Is your man okay? Is the team okay? We just want a ring. I didn't want to ruin the camaraderie. No. Yo, who put the tape out, man? There is a betrayal taking place in this organization. Yeah, it was you, Draymond. But I digress. This reeks of this dysfunctionality. I spoke to this earlier, how Lawrence Frank or somebody told Ty Lue whether Kawhi could play or not in the middle of a game. I don't agree with everybody else saying Ty Lue's overrated. I think the way they switch, the rotations and all that. I seen Chris Dunn emerge as a huge defensive stopper in this league. Zubac came into his own. The Clippers last year, I'm not going to forget about that. It's not Ty Lue's fault, maybe, that you got James Harden and Paul George. Yes, we've heard that Ty Lue also clashed with Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, I'm not sure, no disrespect how to pronounce your name, and now CP3, which are all, strong personalities. So it just hasn't worked. And when it doesn't work, you get the blame. If things were going great, Ty Lue, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Lawrence Frank, they would all be lauded. And there's a lot going on with the Clippers, and the Clippers sure are making the rounds on social media. They've never been viral like this since Lob City, ironically, right? I mean, the Kawhi Leonard era made them more viral, and now they're going viral in a bad way. Like LeBron is starting to duck some smoke. He helped get the game winner the other day, but I got something for them over there with the Lakers, man. I'll get to that in a second. I think you do things to set somebody up. Like Jeff Van Gundy asking Chris Paul, yo, man, did you change up the rotation? And Chris Paul sitting there like, nah, I just made a suggestion. See, real brief on the Lakers thing, right? JJ Redick, I don't know if he sounds like Ty Lue. And I'm not saying, sounding like, there's words that obviously Ty Lue could use that JJ Redick can't use. I ain't talking about that. But when he got to the Lakers, it was known, it was thought, pretty much believed by everybody that he's LeBron's guy, and that's how he got the job with the Lakers, right? And he was committed to signing with that coaching job. There was no way he was going to turn it down. He had interviewed for the Toronto job, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely Toronto and maybe Charlotte. But once the Lakers job came up, it was the perfect, heir to the throne, Pat Riley style, situation. I don't remember Pat Riley being a head coach before being a radio broadcaster, and he was also a role player. I always bring up that he took Joe Hammond's spot, legendary NYC street baller who should have been in the NBA, and he could have had a position with the Lakers. But Pat Riley took his spot, and anywhere in any building that Pat Riley knows Joe Hammond is there, Pat Riley will come down and shake that man's hand. But in between that time, I don't remember Pat Riley being a head coach. And now JJ Redick is looking like a new Pat Riley, especially with that organization. And within doing that, the politics of the game, he signed up for LeBron, therefore signing up for Bronny. And that's how the blow up happened with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, because JJ Redick played Bronny in the first quarter against the Philadelphia 76ers, and he got smoked. So for me, after I thought about it, recently I thought about this. Yo, that was JJ Redick subliminally telling everybody, yo, this kid ain't it. I'm going to put him in the first quarter and show y'all what I think of him. He apologized for it afterwards because he's clearly also testing how much power he has in the organization. JJ Redick is no fool. That guy is no fool. He's very smart. I could tell in the way that he articulates himself, the way he debates, the fact that he picks and chooses when to go bark on somebody, who to speak about, when to speak about them. He doesn't want to outshine LeBron just yet, but it's starting to hit the fan. It's starting to hit the fan because LeBron can't be on the sideline, waving off JJ Redick, basically, not running a play in a blowout game. And you have Luka Doncic there and Austin Reeves there, who are clear-cut number 1 and 2 options. Clear-cut number 1 and 2 options. Let's go to the videotape, man. I ain't got nobody here to produce this for me. I got to go to this damn tape myself. So you guys can see what I'm talking about in case you ain't see it, in case you missed it. It's kind of old news now. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yo, man. Yo, JJ, that was kind of ass, man. That was soft. You can't do this.
And I know Lake gave a little bump and
says JJ Redick calling for LeBron. He's over there on the Phoenix sideline. Here's JJ Redick. He's wondering, like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Fans, this is about as bad as it gets when Brooks
and he's
is the guy doing damage.
You hear him, Braun,
to the purple and gold.
Then he whistles.
27 assists for Phoenix on 39.
Lakers want a timeout, and then Fishers don't see
Look at Braun.
JJ out on the court. 49 seconds.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Who's he looking at? Who else will make you make this face?
Left in the third.
He's shaking his head. Watch it again. I hope YouTube does not scrub this out. Fucking punks.
Gave a little bump, and Gabe went flying, and he stepped back and knocked down the jumper.
And I know
in the middle of the Phoenix,
Laker fans, this is about as bad as it gets when Brooks is the guy doing damage to the purple and gold. 27 assists for Phoenix on 39.
Lakers want a timeout, and then Fishers don't see JJ out on the court.
Look at his punk ass. With your punk ass. Look, just fraternizing. Good for you, Braun, you fucking chump. Look. Yo, that's crazy. Look, Dylan Brooks is there. And that's really why he was hyped up. Because Dylan the villain's in there. Got in LeBron's head. He said, yo, man, I don't kiss LeBron's ass. I don't bow down to him. That's what he wants. And Dylan Brooks specifically said that. I don't bow down to him. That's what he wants. And JJ Redick, I ain't pausing nothing, Flea. I'm 43. All I see is you bowing down to LeBron. When they drafted Bronny, I saw you take the podium, and you said Bronny could be Davion Mitchell and Lou Dort. I will never forget this because I said, huh? You said this? Out of all people This is the guy that has a podcast on YouTube, million subscribers, did his thing. You sitting there telling me that you watch this much basketball, analyze this much data, and all that shit told you that this guy, Bronny James, has the potential to be Davion Mitchell, a top 10 draft pick. The last pick damn near has a chance to be a top 10 pick. Davion Mitchell is not in the all-defensive team, all because he can't shoot a damn three-pointer. Bronny could never play defense on like no damn Davion Mitchell. And then you compare him to Lou Dort, who's undrafted. He came in the league undrafted. Only reason why I know his story is because people were using him for more or less stats when they were putting some bread on him to get some money back with that cash, baby bubba. And people kept mentioning Lou Dort, and he would have these streaky games, 5 steals, no steals, 6 3-pointers, no 3-pointers. I'm like, who the hell is Lou Dort? Started doing my research on him. Then I saw undrafted. He came into the league, no left hand, couldn't really shoot like that. That's how Lou Dort, came into the league with less talent, with not even enough talent to be drafted. And he still came in, worked on his left hand, and got the 3-point shot going. And now he's part of the regular rotation of the OKC Thunder, which, by the way, we'll get into that. LB, New York City, I appreciate you sending me that comment about I heart possible return to the Knicks. We're going to tease that so I get the fellas on me because I want to hear how they respond to that. I ain't pausing nothing, Flea. I'm 43. But I digress. JJ Redick, you're going to have to somehow put your foot down with a superstar who is a third option, who I've been said is a third option. And the only reason why nobody saw it was because you didn't have 2 options on the court to go to. Now you finally see it. That is the third option. I don't care what his superstar status is on the court. You're going to have to develop something. I'm pretty sure you spoke to him, but there's no way possible I'm letting Braun's punk ass chump me like that because Braun is a punk. At the end of the day, I don't care what he told Stephen A. Smith. I got kids too. JJ Redick, you got a job. You are the Lakers head coach. That is not the Minnesota Timberwolves. It ain't really the Knicks. It ain't really. That's the storied franchise. You had a chance to make history. You better make history with his ass first. Braun, check this out. If that shit happens again, we're going to have some problems. What kind of problem you say, JJ Redick? You talking about JJ? And I would just grill him after that. And we'll go run the rest of practice. And I'll keep going. JJ Redick does not come off like someone who's a chump, especially when it comes to, verbal altercations. That's my issue with him just right now. You had no problems trying to punk Stephen A. Smith live on TV. And he's the number one guy for that station that you work for. He's the number one guy. He's the number one money man at ESPN. And you had no problem trying to undress him on national television. I ain't pausing nothing, Flea. I'm 43. The Kendrick Perkins things, Kendrick Perkins was bugging, saying, yo, man, all the MVP voters are white and racist. JJ Redick had no problem getting all red and going at Kendrick Perkins' big ass. He knew he had to go see Kendrick Perkins one day at Bristol or wherever. You're going to see him somewhere. And you know what I love about JJ Redick? You know how I knew he was ill? That he did that with Kendrick Perkins, and he still went on their show, the Road Tripping Show, and talked about basketball on his couch. He had came back home from like coaching his kids, chilling on his couch, and he was on the same show with Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson. That's why I'm like, yo, so you know how to be a leader, you know how to make tough decisions and still show up back to work and not take it personal. And you know who doesn't know how to do that? It's LeBron. And you kind of, I don't want to say scared, you just don't know how to handle that situation. But you better go handle. Maybe it's time to call Pat Riley. God bless the dead. Jerry West would have been the perfect person to bridge that gap with after he flamed your ass. What did you do to impact the outcome of a game? That shit, I'm going to put that on the wall somewhere. Jerry West, what did you do to impact the outcome of a game? That's what he told JJ Redick. You are now in position to impact the outcome of every single game in Lakers' current future history, the short term especially. Jerry West, the legend, the logo, warned your ass. You better go holler at LeBron James, brother. Better go talk to that man. Talking about he got a bad back. He should be working with Jeannie Buss and them. Well, Jeannie Buss is out of there. The Guggenheim Group, that's a perfect organization for JJ Redick to be sitting down with and going, this is what we need. This is the plan for us going forward. They're a super analytics group. They're a super Wall Street organization. So they're right up JJ Redick's alley. They're super analytics. That's what they do. All of them. That's how they talk. No matter what he says, like, this is the position on the center, and you're going to run out for a flat. Whatever the fuck JJ Redick's talking about. He knows their language. I think LeBron is done. I'd be surprised if he's a Laker next season. I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked, to be honest, because I don't think you could have that around. Right, David Smith. LeBron holds enormous power. I think he's fighting to hold that power. And a move like that, that's something that your kid does. That's something that your kid does. Yo, didn't I tell you to get away from the stove? And he's just standing there with a stupid face. He's a grown man, bro. That's a grown man. So what did LeBron want out of that? He wanted his teammates to see how I'm the boss around here. Okay. I gotta get going, man. I came back from the movies. I just seen, what's it called? Zootopia 2. Loved it. I also have a theory that the best movies in the last 25 years, possibly, are all cartoon movies. All of them. I want to say since I was in high school. Real quick, they started implementing the whole carding rule. You have to be like 16 and over, 18 and over in high school to go watch rated R movies. So a lot of movies I used to watch in high school were cartoon movies. The Ant movie, I forgot the names of them. But I used to be getting it on in the movies too. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, I love a bunch of cartoon movies. They've been the best dramatic and just written and motivational movies. Like, think about Thanos. Thanos is mad ill, quotable, right? And before that, it was Dark Knight. There was a lull after Dark Knight. Then you got Thanos. But I saw Zootopia tonight, man. It was dope. I like the first one. I've seen it a couple times. And what's his name? Is it Patrick Bateman? Bateman is on an all-time run. What's my man's name? Marty Bird? Let me see. Bateman. Jason Bateman. Yo. He's on an absolute run. Jason Bateman started off, I remember him on a Hogan Family as a kid. And I didn't expect this move from him. Ozark. I don't know if you guys seen Black Rabbit on Netflix. Fire. He's playing the Bateman guy in the commercials. I never expected him to do all this. He's on a major run. I wonder how much equity he has and stuff. There's another movie he did that was like some fake thriller movie where somebody fooled him into thinking he was going to get killed or his brother was going to get killed. It was on Netflix. I was watching it. That was dope. You know, it wasn't Ozark or the Black Rabbit show, but it was close as far as entertainment, man. And then, of course, you know, he plays the Fox on Zootopia. He's hilarious. I love it. Every time he's talking, he's just like, I love him. I love that movie. You know who I am. It could have been anywhere, but you joined me. All Ball TV. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock game. You know, we're going to do some Knicks things. You know, let me hit him up with the
Knicks rehab.
We'll see y'all then. I almost said toodles. That's all Ball TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.